Hello, my water friends, and welcome to our Aquarius season reading. This is for water signs, but not just if your sun is in a water sign like Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, but if you have a water sign as your sun, moon, rising. It could be your Venus, your Mars, your Mercury, your Jupiter, wherever feels significant, or if you just have a lot of water in your chart. So, hello, we are about to get into a start, stop, continue reading read with the Mood Tarot, which is a disgustingly relatable tarot deck. We are going to be doing a start, stop, continue reading. And if you don't know what that is, that it's a spread that tells us the thoughts, actions, beliefs, behaviors, habits that we need to start doing more of. We need to stop doing because it's not serving us. And we need to continue doing because it's actually a great foundation. The continue part of the reading is usually like our little pat on the back moment. But when we have the stop card there, it tells us this is probably where we're hurting ourselves. We also have an obstacle card at the center, which normally shows, if you're going to make all these changes or if you're going to continue in the way that you're going, here's the thing that's blocking you from doing it easily, from doing it with like a sense of peace and, acceptance in your heart and your soul and your body. So let's be sure to pay attention to the obstacle card, but also when you see it, I know water signs, we tend to beat ourselves up harder than most people. So don't beat yourself up. Just understand that it is an area to look at and a possibility for where we can pivot in our lives and start to change our perspective a little bit. So let's let's get into it. As I swallow, as I inhale some phlegm. You want to take a breath with me? That might be nice. Let's exhale all of our old air out. Inhale through the nose. And sigh out the mouth. Okay. Welcome, water signs. Let's get into it. Honestly, I don't know what happened, but I do. There's a lot of energy there. Oh, I wonder if those were some of the cards from the last reading as well, and we're like sharing some cards. They really wanted to jump out. Hey. Hey. Okay. Obstacle anymore. Oh, okay. 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 Not usually what I sound like when I'm shuffling, but here we are. All right. So I'm going to start with our stop cards because for this kind of reading where I'm reading to all of the signs in one particular element, as opposed to for each horoscope, as I have with the past 2 months of horoscope readings, this is very much like a take what you need kind of situation. And I feel like the stop card is going to tell you uh, whether or not this reading is for you right up front. So I don't want to waste anybody's time, and I want you to feel a really strong sense of like, oh no, I hear myself in there, finger guns, or and I just thought of like water gun, the move from Pokemon, um, or you might actually hear immediately some sense of like, oh, I know who this person is in my life. I can see that reflected in this reading. So if you send this to somebody, here is the message to them, okay? Hi, this message was sent to you by somebody who loves you, who cares about you, and wanted to give you this compassionate, unconditionally loving message so that the things that they see reflected in in their relationship with you, or maybe in your relationship with yourself, can be something that you have more ease and more help with attuning to, paying attention to, because they want you to pay attention to yourself. They want you to love on yourself. That's what loving on yourself looks like, is paying attention to what's going on with some of the ways that you might be stuck or even harming yourself without realizing it. So just be aware that if somebody sent this to you, it's because they love you and they're not trying to hurt you. Okay. Thank you. I have to do that because, again, it's not that all water signs are like incredibly sensitive, but I mean, a little bit though. So we're going to start with the stop cards. Again, these are thoughts, actions, beliefs, behaviors that we need to release and let go of. And we started off our reading with two major arcanas. Like, if you don't know a whole lot about tarot, major arcanas are big picture themes, as well as things that, we've been sort of struggling with for a long time, or just patterns that we've been dealing with for a long time, if I were to put it in a more neutral light. And we've got the Judgment card, which is the They're Watching card in Mood Tarot, and it says, "Wake up, you sleepy hoes." Is that what it says? Yeah. Wake up, sleepy hoes. It's time to be judged. Okay. So we've got the Judgment card in our stop position. Anything hitting yet? And we have the reverse card, which is the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is saying, "One human's enlightenment is another human's piss." Isn't that funny? The yellow is a color that signifies spirit when it's used in traditional tarot. And the person who created this must have been like, that's either enlightenment that's happening on their blood rushed head, or they just peed on themselves. And that's why it's all yellow, which I love. One human's enlightenment is another human's piss. And I think that gives us some enlightenment around the combination of these messages. As you saw, this was the only position in the reading that wanted two cards. So they clearly speak to each other and are trying to bring an aggregate message, as opposed to just like talking about judgment or talking about feeling like you're suspended in your own urine. So together, what I'm getting from these two cards is this sense of learning how to interpret the way that you are judging other people, so that it's not, and yourself, so that it's not the piss part, it's the enlightenment part. Okay, we really want to see you stop judging yourself and stop judging others, and even stop judging the sort of negative aspects of personality qualities or behaviors, beliefs, habits, thoughts, that emotions that sort of make you reflect on how you feel about yourself. Like, if you're judging other people, it's usually because it's shit that you hate about yourself. And there tends to be a reflection on you of what you hate about how things are. So the message that I'm getting here is like, we want you to reverse on the identities that you associate with certain behaviors, because when you can start to flip your judgment into discernment and it's less negative and critical and more neutral and, more of like a pattern recognition. What you'll find is that when you can start to sort out like the things that you either don't love about yourself or don't love about other people and how other people act, you'll start to realize that you have categorized those things into lumps with certain identities. And so you might start to believe that you are a certain kind of person. You might tell yourself that, especially for those of us with water signs and with watery charts, I mean, we very much tend to build up shame around feeling like we're good for doing certain things or bad for doing certain things. We identify with certain qualities and certain actions, beliefs, behaviors as good or bad. And we have like other names for them. We have other names for, and I'm like not coming up with anything because it feels so vague in terms of like, yeah, mothers tend to do this, or, pastors tend to do that, or restaurant servers tend to do this. You understand what I'm saying? We lump in certain qualities with certain identities. And when you pin that on yourself, it starts to feel like you're just sort of opening yourself to receiving judgment from other people. And that becomes like this endless spiral of, I'm waiting for other people to judge me so I can know how to feel about myself. I'm inviting other people to judge me because I already judge myself and it's easier for them to do it than for me to do it myself. I'm waiting for other people to validate the way that I feel about myself because it's bad and I just want people to tell me why I'm bad or what is it that makes me bad. Reinforcing. The flip that needs to happen is your perspective. I mean, that's why we have this hanged guy. That's why we have the reverse card. Is because we need to turn that piss perspective into enlightenment. So stop imagining. Yep. Wow, and in the same place too. Stop imagining yourself to be in a certain category and to act a certain way just because that's how you have done it. It feels like you're trapping yourself in maybe the context of what you think other people expect of you. And so you judge yourself when you want something else, when you feel differently, and when you believe differently. And you know on the inside that you've changed, but you're already prejudging based on how you think other people are going to respond and react to you. Stop doing that. Here's our start card, which is the same start card from the last reading, which was for fire signs. And it is the Four of Swords. One sword down, nap time. The four energy is usually, for me, associated with war, is associated with like an internal battle. And that's totally reflected here. But because it's in your start position, it really feels like it's time to separate out. And I love the visual nature of this message that's coming through. We have the three swords on the wall and we have the one that's being slept on. So really it's not four, it's 3 plus 1. 1 is the number, ace is the number of possibilities and taking new perspectives on things. 3 is the number of harmony. You're in harmony and you're in love and you're in that sort of honeymoon period with yourself, with relationships, with a career, with etc. right before the conflict starts. And 4 usually indicates conflict, but the 3 and the 1 here is a reminder that because this is a swords card and the suit of swords represents mental energy, this is a reminder that you can start separating out the perspective that you have that takes on that sort of conflicting, critical, judgmental nature from the parts that feel love, the parts that are in harmony, the parts that recognized and acknowledged and accepted easily before you got worn down by life, or you got worn down by the mundanity of consistency, or you got worn down by something and you lost that filter. I feel like for water signs, we can get worn down by life pretty quickly and lose perspective. It's sort of like, you look into the reflection of the water and you're like, wow, I see myself. And once there start to be ripples and waves in the water, it's like you lose sight of, well, that's still a possibility. I just have to tune in to where I am in this reflection. I have to just like keep sort of smoothing out and calming these waters, these internal waters, so that I can come back to myself. Which makes total sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because here is the 10 of Cups in the continue position. Cups is emotional energy, and 10 is the number of completion. It's the number of that represents the very end of a journey, but like the part between the end and the beginning of another. So it's not exactly the end. It's like that sort of liminal, what do I even do next space? I'm reflecting in gratitude on the journey that was and the journey that will be. I love you so much, gang. Perms for everyone. Yay! Very fun. This is in our continue position because for water signs, you need to remember and be reminded that you have that sort of rainbow water alignment, that you have that capacity and that ability to tap into your emotional energy in that sort of rainbow refractory positive way, in that sort of idealistic way. It's when you get bogged down by like I said, the mundanity, the sort of details of human existence, the way that humans have bent existence to their will, that where's your willpower to use this energy down? Because it doesn't take a lot of energy to get there, but it does to sustain it. Like being rainbow all the time, woof, woof, that's a lot, you know? It's holding a lot of truths at once, and still, like I said, being able to love, accept, forgive, and hold space for the positive intentions created within and by all of those things. So it's in the continue position because it's a reminder that this is what we already do well. This is what water signs are already very capable of. You just have to learn to apply it to your perspective. There needs to be a perspective shift here. It needs to go from judgment to discernment. I'm seeing certain things, but I'm not going to judge who a person is for doing those things or for how I'm seeing it happen. The thing is, chat of mind bullets. Mind bullets is swords in this deck, and Chad is the Knight. So the Knight of Swords is coming in saying cocaine's a hell of a drug in the obstacle position in this reading. Our obstacle here, water signs, people who have lots of water in their charts. The primary obstacle here is getting past that part of pattern recognition that tells us, yeah, but I know what I'm seeing. Yeah, but I know if I keep following this pattern, this is usually where it leads me. This is usually where we go. This is usually what happens. This is usually who this person is that I see this thing happening from, that I see doing this kind of shit. So there's a part of pattern recognition which is really valuable because it helps us understand our world and it helps us to adapt quickly so that we don't stay stuck in situations that we can tell immediately not for us. And pattern recognition needs to be paired with intuition, because intuition is the thing that's going to tell us this looks like the same pattern, but it's not. This looks, and I know that's so confusing to get that message because it's like, but how do I know? How do I know when it's a different pattern? How do I know when to stay or go? I feel like that's so water of us to just be like, I want to be able to flow into and out of the situations that are for me and not for me. Most of us have trouble hearing our intuition, and it makes us feel like we are gaslighting ourselves when we see patterns and we go, yeah, but I need to hold back on doing anything about it or judging or identifying with this pattern that I'm seeing. The obstacle that we have is the brain and the mind getting in the way of our gut and our instincts and the way that we need to receive that enlightenment, not from here, but from dropping down and dropping into our bodies and searching for feelings of safety or alarm. And it's not difficult to do when you have a regular practice. And I'm speaking to myself in this moment because I'm like, I have not had a regular practice. I promise you, I'm not a perfect person. My meditation practice has been so when you have a regular practice of coming from here down into here, then you start to develop that connection so you can get there quicker and faster. And then it's like you start living here. You start living in this place where you're listening to yourself and you're eating better food that keeps your gut clear, and all of the 2 million neurons that exist in your gut firing on all cylinders and giving you the information, sort of like a cat's brain. Like a cat is going to know whether somebody is safe or not fucking immediately. That's what we have right here. And that's the thing that tells us the difference between a pattern that we're seeing that we can judge definitively as not for us, or that we need to start discerning, is this a pattern that I need to separate its threads from an identity that I think it's always associated with because of the way that my dad acted, and he was a closeted alcoholic. So now every time I see somebody with this particular set of patterns, I think that they must be a closeted alcoholic. Every time I see this thing, I think it's this thing. I know that it saves us a lot of times. And right now, during Aquarius season, the water bearer wants to kind of do a flush, kind of do a cleanse, a gut cleanse, if you will. And that's the piss. That's the piss running down to clear things out. It's so weird to say that, but that's how it feels. And look at them, they're all in water. They're all naked. They've all shed these identities so that they can be uh, listening to and attuned to that that knowing, that horn that sounds, that alarm that sounds from in the gut, that tells us exactly what we need to know if we are willing to trust it enough to respond when it alarms us, to acknowledge what it's saying and not go against it. Because the pattern that we also fit into ourselves much of the time, and this isn't just for water signs, this is for everybody. A lot of us will hear it and we'll go, I need more evidence. I need to see some evidence so that I know that the thing that my gut is telling me, I think my gut is telling me, maybe my intuition might be telling me this thing. I don't know. You do know. You do know. And you just don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings about it. Or you just think that the job or the career opportunity or the housing opportunity or the loan opportunity or whatever opportunity in front of you is not going to come again. So you go, shh, this is our one chance. Fuck that. You see how strongly I feel about this? Fuck that. You get opportunities coming through your door to remind you that you have a choice every single time to say, I like that, I like that, I like that, I like that, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. And to kind of, I like it, I don't, I like it, I don't, I like it, I don't. And whittle down to this narrow hallway so that once you know, and you capital K know, and you capital K know, and you're willing to hold those boundaries, and you're willing to stand there in that narrow little hallway and say, there are enough opportunities that I don't care what else is going on out there. The universe is so abundant that what is meant for me will find me because I did this. It won't miss me because I'm saying no. It will find me better because I said no. Because I knew, because I capital K knew that this wasn't for me. This is where we need to get to, water signs. This is the point. This time in history is a point of no return where we need to stop looking back into all the things that we've lost by saying no or by waiting too long to say yes. And we need to start being definitive about what we know. Sharpening our swords. Start sharpening your sword. Start sharpening those 3 swords that equal harmony. And whenever you feel that conflict, whenever you feel that sharp pain of conflict and that war within yourself, or that war between what you think of somebody else and what you actually know, then lay that one down and become harmonious with this knowing. Lay down the conflict. You don't have to conflict with yourself. Just listen and just go with it. The resistance within you is a built up mechanism for self-sabotage. And I have a tendency to think that fire and water signs have the highest propensity for self-sabotage because we're so fluid that we don't trust ourselves. Trust yourself. You already know how. You already know how good it can feel to feel good about the decisions you're making. Do not let your your big adult mature thinking brain get in the way of what you know, of reversing where you're getting your knowing from, where you're getting that pattern recognition from. Okay? I love you so much. I believe in you. You can do it. If this reminded you of somebody, please send it to them. We need everybody to be hearing this shit. You are so deserving of all the love you desire. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Please like this video and comment if there was something that stood out for you, because I would love to connect. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you in a month, y'all. Bye, baby.